Welcome, everybody, to the Rainbow Sheep Chronicles. It's Jean Jung and Marisa Raymond. We are two midlife women and coaches. We are also 6'3" and 3'6" human design profiles. So we are here to share our experiences with you. Hopefully, they will be of value in guiding you. And what are we going to talk about today, Marisa?
So we just went through the solstice and we're recording this on June 22nd. And Jean and I were talking about the power of that solstice on our physical and emotional uh, health, right? Being, energy. And so we thought we would talk about the like the impacts of the solstice specifically, but celestial energy uh on us, like what we're experiencing as midlife women right now, going
Yes,
through all of these astrological shifts and changes.
absolutely. So this theme is something that's very central to my life and to Marissa's, I believe. This idea that we are kind of shifting paradigms on so many levels. Collectively, this paradigm of competition, of domination and suppression and individuation to the point of isolation and loneliness and depression. Like this is the condition that we are living in the world, especially in the West, and especially in the US, I believe, where yang energy is most developed. And we're all being called to make this shift, to start unlearning some of our programming that's telling us to just stiff upper lip it. You got to do it this way when parts of us are just not on board. We need to start listening to the parts of us that are trying to speak to us, often through our bodies. So the summer solstice is the longest day of the year. And I heard Charlene Lizette, an amazing YouTuber as well, talk about how this is the energy of a woman like nature, Mother Nature, who has been desecrated and wounded and suppressed, rising up. And what happens when a woman who's been abused finally rises up? There's a lot of grief and trauma that comes to the surface. So this is the moment we are in collectively. We're kind of in a collective summer solstice. And then yesterday was the summer solstice, and Marissa and I both went through physical symptoms and issues. So we can tap on that. And we are both perimenopausal.
That's why I was laughing when you said we went through stuff, because I was like, can I just stop to fan myself? I'm not sure I'm done with it yet.
So women in perimenopause are basically going through this pivot as well, this paradigm shift of having been overly ruled probably by their masculine energy and their conditioning. And now our souls are screaming, wake up! We're on the way out. You came here to do something. Listen, start doing it. Time's running out. The heat is on. And so a lot of the symptoms of menopause to me, of perimenopause, menopause to me, are basically our bodies trying to wake us up so that we start expressing our purpose and really fulfilling the reason why we're on the planet.
Yeah, I love it. The way that it was described to me, like taking that a step further, right, is from a science perspective, is like estrogen, which we've been producing up until this point um, pretty regularly, is all about caregiving, right? It's the nurture hormone. It connects with with dopamine of like that reward, like when I go out, and that anticipation of making somebody else feel better is going to make me feel better. It's very Libra energy, right? And then as that hormone starts to go down, like we then also naturally have this dopamine level going down as well, and in regulation. So like we're seeking it more. We're like searching for um that, like we're so used to having this sort of external need for validation. And as that's going down, as the estrogen is going down, we're like, I don't care what you do. Like, I'm turning the mirror onto myself. Like, I need to nurture myself. There's that external energy kind of goes away and it becomes more of that internal. So it like there's the, like you're saying, like the I'm being called to go within to, and which
Yeah.
is then going into, right, the receiving, going into that feminine energy. And so it is part of that hormonal cycle and nature. Um, and yeah, whole lot of things are happening, and half the time I'm like I'm just gonna say it's the solstice because like yesterday was a really hot day and like externally because it actually hit 100 here. It hit
Heat
almost
was
40
on.
degrees Celsius. Yes, the heat was literally on. The sun was literally heating up the air here in France. Um, but also because of of the perimenopause, like I do get this like internal heat that's coming to the surface where I'm just like, wait, I was cold 5 seconds ago. Why am I boiling right now? So there's much more of that sort of call for self-awareness. And it's like my body's going, oh, you haven't been paying attention to me for a few hours. Like I'm going to make you really hot so that you have to come back into yourself. Stop
Yeah.
looking outward.
Yeah.
Um,
I apologize for looking down, but there's a woman on YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube who talks about she had a comment the other day that I found so funny, and I just want to give you her name because I don't want to just quote somebody without knowing who it is, but I can't find her. Anyway, I guess I'll just say it. She said, when you're in menopause, I'm in menopause and my pronouns are try me. And I'm like, yes. You're like, yeah, I'm not going to take it anymore. And I don't have enough estrogen to really care about you and your feelings anymore. And so, yeah. And I am so grateful for this because it's time by this point in our lives as women that we speak our truth and we're not cowering to what other people think anymore. And it's interesting that you say estrogen is very Libran because Libra is, caring about what other people think. So it's maybe a good thing to have a
and it's
decline.
interesting what like that you're saying, right? Like, because what you're describing is what you were talking about with this solstice energy of
Mhm.
a woman who's been abused, who's coming up. Like you could almost, whether, like, and I'm not comparing sort of people pleasing, over nurturing to any form of physical or sexual abuse that women can sustain. There is a sort of self-flagellation that happens that makes you that leads to people pleasing, right? Like it's almost like self-abuse. Like to avoid being abused, I'm going to give you everything that you want. And so there's still like that rebel that comes up when you've been people pleasing for so long. That's just like, I'm done. And I think what I keep hearing, and you and I were talking about this before we hit record, from astrologers right now, is that this is the energy that was coming up during the solstice, but it's also the energy that we're being much more, that's coming into our field of view much more regularly, like a huge slap in the face if we're not paying attention, um, of just being like, enough is enough. Like, are you in alignment sort of collectively? Like, are you as an individual in alignment with your values? Are you as an individual getting your needs met? Or are you just trying to play the game that somebody else has created for you? And that's, I can even feel like that inner rage and anger coming up as I'm saying it. Like I feel it in my body of like, enough is enough. Like I'm done with this shit. Like I'm tired of playing the game. I'm tired. I'm actually tired of getting angry. Like I and that's my Libra North node being like, I don't need to fight anymore. That Aries doesn't need to be there. Like we were talking about this in the last episode, for me on the battlefield, like fighting alone. I'm here to create that harmony in the partnership, but there have to be boundaries. There has to be like a give and take, because part of like harmony and balance isn't that like I'm here to do it on my own. And
Yeah.
so I do feel this extra frustration when I hear people dehumanize other people, when I like and other people and all sorts of things where it's like, wait, you say you want peace and you say you want justice and you say you want freedom, but then you go and you put these boxes on what that means and what that looks like and who has the right to it. And can we just stop
Yeah.
that game and start playing the like, we are all on this earth? And I see nature doing it. I think that's like the, and like there was a bird today, just as an example. Like I went out and I was doing a little bit of gardening, and this magpie landed on the wire, the telephone wire just above my house, and it was talking nonstop. And I was like, I finally had to stop, and I was like, I hear you. I was like, what am I doing? I'm clearly bothering you. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Because it was just like, and nobody was like, no, it wasn't talking to another bird, or another bird wasn't replying to it.
Aw, how
Right. It
sweet.
like was literally, it was literally like, you're not doing that correctly. Go do something. I was like, that's the message I was getting, because I was like, you are talking so loud. I cannot concentrate. And there really was this like nature just being like, nope, 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 nope. You're like, you're watering that plant wrong, and you're cutting you're
That's
pruning that
adorable.
plant wrong. And I was like, what am I doing? And as soon as I acknowledged it, and I was like, okay, what am I doing? What do you need me to know or see or be aware of? And it just kind of like settled down, and then it like kind of like twittered a little bit, and then it flew away. I was like, okay. But again, it's like, here's nature going like, you stupid human, stop doing your stupid stuff. Stop being mindless and be intentional.
That's one way to think of it. I kind of had this feeling that maybe the magpie felt you could hear him,
Yeah.
could hear him or her. And so it was had a lot to say. Like, finally, a human who can hear me, a
Yeah.
human who
Yeah, that
pays
too.
attention, a human
Stop
who's
what
not
you're
wearing
doing.
their earphones or headphones. I got a lot to say. And then you really stopped and took it in, and they were like, oh, I feel heard. I'm okay. And they flew away.
Yeah, and I think that's it. When I hear you say that, which is such a beautiful, much more grounded way of like thinking than me
That's
being
so
like, okay,
critical.
what am I doing wrong? That the inner critic in me being like, okay, I hear you're yelling at me. Um, but through that lens that you're saying, like I think that's what I hear when you talk about the solstice being this energy of the woman being like, I'm here and I want to be heard and I want to be validated, and um and I'm going to sit here and kick and scream or chat until you pause and you pay attention to me, and then I'm okay. Like I want that recognition.
Yeah.
And I think we all crave that so deeply. And so when we connect with what's missing for us right now, with where we're feeling out of alignment, I guess the question that this is raising for me is, again, like what of my needs are not getting met,
Mm.
and like what part of me am I not listening to?
A great theme for this Healcast episode.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to answer that for myself. And I also want to throw in, I live in Washington State where psilocybin is decriminalized. And I have had the opportunity to experiment with microdosing and sometimes larger doses, and it's been amazing. And someone has shared with me a lot of perimenopausal women really benefit from the use of psilocybin. Also, post uh, postpartum women in Southern California are all about microdosing. It's like a thing down there because it really helps. And I experienced just this massive release of a lot of grief that had been accumulating. And I just felt so much more open and available emotionally. It really softened me up. And somebody said that the mushrooms want to experience the world through us. They want to see through us. And I actually did do a stronger dose once, and I was in the park nearby with a friend, and we were just staring up at the tree. And you really do feel like nature is talking to you. It's amazing. I remember doing a dose and then walking into the park, and there were all these birds, and I was like, hi. I was so present with them. Hi, Crow. How are you? You're well, lovely. I'm so glad to be feeling connected to you. It was wonderful. So, yeah, nature can have an impact on our physiology, on our brains, make them more plastic. It's an amazing medicine that ancient civilizations have relied on. Before we had chemicals, we had nature. That was our medicine, and it is our medicine still. And it is actually really calling us to integrate it. I think that's why psilocybin is becoming more used in the US. It's still used in some cultures where it's still practiced, but the US is starting to get on the bandwagon of usage and decriminalization and legalization. And I think it's time. It's a real resource right now.
Can I
So
ask a question about that? Um, when you talk about how you had this one experience where you had this a lot of this release of grief,
and
how,
hypervigilant.
yeah, like how do I want to phrase this question? Like, how did that open you up to experiencing life differently once you released that?
Well, microdoses are pretty subtle, like you don't actually feel them. When you take the larger doses, you might really know that you're tripping. Um, but I do it according to the protocol that's recommended. I can't remember the name of the guy, but basically every 3 days at a maximum. And you can do that over several weeks, and then you take a bit of time off. Look it up, everybody. I'm not here to guide you around it. I'm not certified around that, but I have actually helped with integration. I have co-led workshops with psilocybin facilitators who have credentials, and I have offered tapping to help integrate the awarenesses that come up. That is such a fun facilitation for me to do, because people who do psilocybin are really open. They are here for deep shifts. And I feel like as a 6'3", I have gone through my own trials by fire early on, and I'm waiting for everybody else, you know? So it's wonderful to do these psilocybin workshops. Um, but
But like as like when you have that space clear, right? Like when you've released,
yeah,
like how does that shift how you're experiencing the world?
what it feels like to me is a softening
Mm,
and less reactivity, more connectedness with my own emotions and my body, and more presence in the world. Yeah, connection with nature. It's beautiful. It's
yeah.
wonderful. Yeah,
I
a
love
lot of
I love the softness piece of it that like because again we're talking about like the solstice, the woman rising up, right? The
people.
softness of that woman when she has her boundaries, like when she's here to give that love. Like that's what I hear you describing. Like you're connecting to the divine feminine when you're
Yeah,
able to release the grief and the um
yeah,
yeah,
related traumas, and
yeah,
that's what we all need, because we have been through it collectively. We have been on this trajectory of trample and dominate and control and compete and suppress. So this is happening now for a reason, that we're at this tipping point, and it seems like we're going down the drain. You know, it's the darkness is always strongest right before the light. And power never gives up anything without a struggle. It never has, it never will. So said Frederick Douglass. So this is an amazing moment in our collective evolution. And I actually really felt it when you asked me. I did not microdose today, but I feel like I have. The collective softening. What would that look like if we could all be connected to ourselves and to the earth and open-hearted and feeling in each other instead of judging and coming from that fight or flight? You know, what would it be like if we were all like happy in ourselves, in our own bodies, and connected? It would be amazing. We would be expressing ourselves with joy. We would be happily playing with each other. Like that's what's possible. It is so possible. I really truly believe. And I think perhaps menopause, midlife women, all of this is the kind of energy that the world is needing. Wisdom and heart and connectedness and letting go of the whole needing to be right and finding fault with what's outside of you in order to protect your ego. That does not get us anywhere. It gets us more of that conflict energy. So peace begins with me, which is in your background, is the message. Everybody, it's time to take care of yourself, to take ownership of your own emotions and need for healing and growth and connection. There's so much out there right now. We have so many tools, EMDR, psilocybin, other psychedelics,
EFT.
FT. These are the buzzwords: embodiment, astrology, human design. There are so many tools and resources to heal yourself of all of your accumulated traumas, of your conditioning, of your dysfunctional family training. It's intergenerational. You are the opportunity for your lineage to heal. You don't have to think about it as there's something wrong with me. I got to fix myself. You're like, I'm going to be a stand for this collective evolution, the evolution of my lineage, my family. You know, it's a joyful task.
And there's that Native American, right, saying that like when you heal yourself, you heal 7 generations back and 7 generations forward. And so what you're sharing is such a powerful, because the peace begins with you, but it ripples out, and not just to the people who surround you, but on an ancestral and descendant level as well.
Yeah.
I have to ask my friend, like, as you were sharing and talking, like that feeling, like I felt that softness, I felt that love, I felt that groundedness, and I'm feeling called to say, like, can we tap on that?
Yes, we can. And I had to throw in one more thing because
Yeah.
I went to my 35th college reunion. I don't know if I mentioned it the last episode. I feel like I haven't talked enough about it, but maybe I did. It's just
You
in my,
mentioned it, but I think there's a lot more to say about it.
I went to Yale and it's an incredible institution. I loved that experience. And yet it is so coded in the patriarchal tropes. You know, we studied the canon. I was totally like, what is going on in my English I think 125 class? We were studying Chaucer's or Spenser's Fairy Queen, and I was like, what are we doing? What's going on? I could not compute. I was in culture shock. And not that we shouldn't study that, but we should study everything. And there is a certain kind of bent to that culture. And there was a moment where we like toasted the necrology report, which were all our classmates who had passed. And yes, I wanted to pay tribute, but it was such a kind of a dark Charles Dickens type energy of like dark and doom. And I don't really jive with that perspective anymore. It just feels so limited. And I also felt a lot of compassion towards a lot of my classmates who were very much in this mode of fear about the current administration and the attack on Harvard and Yale. And the liberal kind of cultural mindset. And somebody mentioned that law professor Amy Chua had given a talk about tribalism, which was actually very helpful in seeing beyond their filter of we're right and we're being attacked and help us. It's no, you're not right. You have trauma. They have trauma.
Right. Everyone's
So
right. Everyone's right and everyone's wrong. And because everyone has trauma and we're all human, right? Like we're all interconnected.
yeah. And I had not been to a reunion in 20 years because I was going through my deep, dark night of the soul healing journey. And some relationships from college triggered that. And I was not ready to deal with them right now, right then. Um, and I had a fear that I was way out there too woo-woo, and all these people have totally made it in the classic conventional, ways, all the markers of success. And I felt, maybe I don't measure up, but I have enough awareness and intuition to know that actually I needed to go and I wanted to go and I was excited to go. And I knew it was going to be a soul retrieval. And what I found and experienced was I was completely embraced like I was. We were all basically in the same mode of interrelating as we were when we were 18 to 22. And that was a beautiful thing. It was beautiful to connect with people I hadn't seen for 20 years or more and just be back in, having breakfast, lunch, and dinner together all the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really precious that those formative years. But I also just noticed like I have evolved. I have worked on myself and I'm feeling totally centered and in my power. And I'm hearing other people in fear about what's going on. And they may have all the outer external markers of success, but they were in many ways way behind in some of the things that I value. And I felt for them. And I actually did a few tapping demos. I did a tapping circle after dinner on Saturday night. I had about 8 to 10 people there. A friend of mine who's a doctor at Mass General now was going to come over. He couldn't find us, but I was like, that would have been great. I would have loved your endorsement and maybe I'll still get it. But I could just see how this paradigm was lacking. And I felt excited because people were responding to tapping. They thought it was great. They were like laughing when I was tapping and saying, nobody else knows what it's like to be me. Like, this is a standard aspect of the way I see things. And they were like cracking up like it was the funniest thing they'd ever heard. And that made me feel good. Like, oh, good. I hope I can bring some lightness to this Dickensian dark, you know, only one way to go is, down, and help people start seeing things a little bit differently. So I'm just grateful for you, Marissa, for our collaboration, which is so magical. You in France, me in Seattle. We've crossed paths in crazy ways and then met in another place. Yes. And then we met in New York because you were in New York at the same time that I was after the reunion, which was a total crazy miracle for one day.
Yeah.
And we met in the middle at Washington Square Park and we had coffee. I walked up with you to the Upper West Side and then I went over to Central Park and had lunch and went to the Metropolitan Museum. It was amazing. I love the
It
East Coast.
was
I love New York.
it was so amazing. And I love what you're saying because I think this is the realization, right? I think there when you start doing the work as you are doing on yourself, um, it can be hard and heavy to see people who aren't there yet. Um, and and it can feel heavy to be like it's my responsibility to plant the seeds because I've done, but that's still being in that paradigm of like I have to fix, I have to write this. We've talked before about that drama triangle of savior, villain, victim, right? Like
And
um
actually, I did so many intuitive readings on that through ChatGPT, and the overall message is me just being in my joy and my
that's it. That's what I was gonna say. Like when you sit in the joy and before we hit go, like you were in that again, like talking about, getting to tap with a 10-year-old girl. Like when we get to be in that joyous curiosity mindset, the playfulness, the opportunity mindset, the possibility mindset, it really like just again, it's like we we're talking about those generations, it ripples out. And to me, like that does so much, has so much more power than if you sit in front of somebody and go, you need to heal, let me heal you, right?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so that the beauty of you, and that's why when you were, I think a reflection of this is when you were sharing what it was like to feel open after the psilocybin experience and being more, feeling more soft, like that is like,
That's it.
that's it. That's really it. And the image that popped into my head, it's going to be really silly, but the image that popped into my head just now as I'm saying that is how in the 18th century, right? Like women were supposed to have extra weight because if you had more weight, it meant you were abundant, it meant you had food. And there's a softness to it, right? To like that little extra fat that you can poke. And part of this paradigm that has been going on as masculine energy has been getting stronger and stronger and stronger is it's forcing women to do this thing of like, I need to control what I eat and I need to control the
Yes.
fat and
Yes.
I need to
Yes.
like be stick thin and tall and all. This is what I the external, the ego, right? This is what I need to look like to prove my worth. And so
Oh my,
when you said that, I was like, I just had this image of you, like a portrait of you, like on a chaise lounge, like in, right? And like, and a painter painting you, and you're just like in your fullness, like in that grounded, soft,
Empress energy.
divine empress energy, exactly, abundant energy. And yeah, so I feel like that's the image that popped into my head, and I feel that in my core. And I know that there are so many people listening because I know that there are so many people you and I both talk to on a regular basis, and we talk to each other about who know that to be true, who know what we're saying to be true, and yet to leave your house and go into the paradigm where there are a lot of people out there saying, no, you don't get to be this way, and here's the box, and I don't like that you're trying to push yourself out of the box, can be so uncomfortable. And so one of the reasons I would love to tap on this too is because that's what this solstice has been bringing up for me, is
Okay, let's
like
do it.
it was so freaking hot that I didn't want to leave my house. And at the same time, I was like, I don't want to leave with that energy of like, I'm so hot. I want to leave with that energy of like the nature, the magpie looking at me, like talking to me, saying, just hear me, right? Like that's the energy I want to walk out into the world. Like I hear you, I see you, and I have the capacity and the openness and the softness to listen without needing to be attached to solving your problem,
Yes.
right? Or pointing, mirroring, reflecting, pointing out that you have a problem that needs to be solved. So
Absolutely. Gosh,
let's tap. Let's tap, tap, tap.
I could just go on and talk about all the
I
things that we're
know, I know. I That's the beauty of this is like this, you have
endless
this is
conversation.
our life. We feel this every single day and we have these conversations regularly.
But what you said about the whole female body and how it had to be thin, like that was actually very much on my mind at the reunion because I saw a number of women who really looked the part and it looked like an effort in my feeling, my energy, my experience intuitively. And yeah, what would it be like if we didn't have to have that mandate of how thin we needed to be in order to be successful? Um, so when you feel into your body about just being in your Empress energy, lush, feeling the richness of you just as you are, where do you feel any tension or emotion in your body?
So for me, it's always in my ears. It starts in my throat and then radiates out into my ears.
Okay. And what does it say, that energy?
That's such a good question. Hold on. It's saying that I want it to be true, but it feels too good to be true. And this is what I've been told for so long to play this game. And it feels really scary to crack that shell.
Beautiful. Yeah, I can imagine the throat chakra is about your voice, and your ears are about what you've heard, the inner voice, the outer voices. And 0 to 10, how strong are those voices?
I would say it's at like a 5 or 6 right now.
Right.
The maybe not the voices, but like the sensation.
Okay. And can you say a word about where you first?
Sorry, I'm like really feeling pulled to push on the collarbone point. Like
Interesting.
talking. I'm like all of a sudden my body's like, this is where you need to put your hands.
Maybe
So
you're.
there's obviously some heart stuff as well.
See how intuitive it is? Our bodies are speaking to us all the time.
Sorry,
And
I missed your question because my body was like, please, please push on, please push on here.
Is there an early memory of those messages getting laid in? It's the earliest. At home, at school, particular event.
It's funny, the memory that's popping into my head is being about 2 and being told I needed to let go of my pacifier.
Oh,
And the funny thing is the way my parents tell the story, they threw it out the window and I lived on the seventh floor. And then I cried and cried and cried and cried and cried. And so my mom felt so bad. She went downstairs to go get my pacifier. And by the time she came upstairs, I was sucking my thumb and I was asleep. And I sucked my thumb until I was 9. And like the dentist did stuff to make me stop sucking my thumb. So it was also not like my choice to stop the thumb sucking. But it was causing dental issues. But yeah, like that's when you asked earliest memory, that's my earliest memory of sort of somebody saying, this is what you should do.
Yeah.
And me being like, okay, well, you're telling me that, so I'm going to trust you. And then being like, F you. Like, why did you make me do that? Why did I listen to you? I knew better.
Oh my God. I really feel that in my heart, that little 2-year-old sucking on that pacifier, that was your connection to comfort and self-soothing, and to just rip it out and throw it out the window must have been incredibly jarring and frightening. I get that. All right, everybody at home, we are doing EFT tapping, which is like acupuncture without the needles. We are going to release energy blocks, emotional blocks that are stuck in your energetic circuitry, in your meridians, which connect with your organs in your body. This is a way to actually help your whole body reset and heal by releasing these blocks that are keeping it from functioning and flowing. So think about where you feel energy around this idea of being in your innate goodness, knowing that you are made of the stuff of the universe and you are perfect. You're here for a reason. Are there fears coming up? Are there doubts coming up? Do you feel it in your throat, in your belly, in your back? And give it a number, 0 to 10. How intense is it? And maybe an idea, a memory, or a word that represents it. And now you can just tap along with us now that you've done that, and you will receive borrowing benefits. Even if you're saying the words that I'm saying with Marisa, your own issue will also get relief. Also, make sure to hydrate when you tap, before, during, after, ideally, as it's a process that's working with your body's electricity. It also releases toxins and you want to flush those out. So let's start tapping side of the hand. And I'm going to say, what's going on for me? I'm feeling some energy in my throat as well. It feels warm, maybe about a 2 or a 3. Generally feeling happy and excited, but maybe there's a little bit of fear of how much I can really express myself. So, even though my mother threw my pacifier out
Even
when
though
I
my
was
mother threw my pacifier out
2,
when I was 2,
out the 7th floor window,
out the seventh floor window,
and it broke my heart.
it broke my heart.
It was all I had
It was all I had
to soothe,
to soothe,
and I didn't know what I was going to do.
and I didn't know what I was going to do.
So even though I have fear of really just being okay with me,
And even though I have fear of really just being okay with me,
that I'm enough.
that I'm enough.
Yeah. And I
What's
deeply,
what's coming up is the self-soothing. Sorry, I to interrupt, but I think I still really struggle with self-soothing. That's where the
uh-huh.
not enoughness, right? It's like, oh, when I feel that way, I don't know how to soothe myself.
Yes. Right, let's integrate that in. I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
So even though I have these fears of not being enough,
So even though I have these fears of not being enough,
I feel it in my throat and my ears.
I feel it in my throat and my ears.
Did you say it was about a 5 or a 6?
Yeah. That's the like the yelling, like, like we were talking
Yeah.
about before, the
2-year-old. Yeah.
well, before the 2-year-old, right? The original thought was um what was around this solstice energy, this energy of um this angry woman rising up
Yeah.
who wants to soften, who wants to feel
Yeah.
soft.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
of this old angry energy
Old angry energy
that keeps me from being what I should be,
that keeps me from being, yeah, what I should be, who I
what I
want to be.
what I was told I should be as well.
Yeah, what I was
Maybe
told I should be.
yeah. And I totally and completely love and accept myself
And I totally and completely love and accept myself
with all these thoughts and feelings.
with all these thoughts and feelings.
Wonderful. And then we're going to start tapping. And the first point is the inside of the eyebrow. My mom threw that pacifier out the window,
My mom threw that pacifier out the window,
and I was terrified.
and I was terrified.
Side of the eye. That was how I soothed myself
That was how I soothed myself
when I felt like I was not enough.
when I felt like I didn't have enough.
Yeah, under the eye. I was devastated,
I was devastated,
and all of those feelings were still with me.
and all those feelings still live within me.
Under the nose. How do I pacify myself?
How do I pacify myself?
How do I soothe that inner 2-year-old?
How do I soothe that inner 2-year-old?
Maybe I can talk to her now.
Maybe I can talk to her now.
The dip in the chin. You are enough.
You are enough.
You've always been enough.
You've always been enough.
You are more than enough.
You are more than enough.
You are divinely perfect.
You are divinely perfect.
Everything about you is exactly what it should be
Everything about you is exactly as it should be
and always has been.
and always has been.
You are a gift of the universe.
You are a gift of the universe.
You are part of the universe.
You are part of the universe.
And the universe doesn't make mistakes.
And the universe doesn't make mistakes.
Collarbone points. I love being me.
I love being me.
Everything about me is just the way it's supposed to be.
Everything about me is just the way it's supposed to be.
I can tell myself this whenever I need to hear it.
I can tell myself this whenever I need to hear it.
I can start softening that critical voice inside.
I can start softening that critical voice inside.
Under the arm. Under the arm. Critical voice, thank you.
Critical voice, thank you.
I know you think you're protecting me.
I know you think you're protecting me.
You're afraid someone else is going to tell me the same thing.
You're afraid someone else is going to tell me the same thing.
I think you're being a little overprotective.
I think you're being a little overprotective.
And you're shutting parts of me down.
And you're shutting parts of me down. You're hardening me.
Yeah. It's not having a good effect.
It's not having a good effect.
So maybe we can take it easy.
So maybe we can take it easy.
I got this.
I got this.
Top of the head. I can talk to the inner parts of me.
I can talk to the inner parts of me.
The inner critic.
The inner critic.
Is trying to keep us safe.
It's trying to keep us safe.
But who got formed under duress.
But who got formed under duress.
And it's not the reality.
And it's not the reality.
To the inner kids.
To the inner kids.
Who need a loving parent.
Who need a loving parent.
I can be that loving parent.
I can be that loving parent.
And tell them what they need to hear.
And tell them what they need to hear.
And to the inner teenager.
And to the inner teenager.
Who's also trying to protect us.
Who's also trying to protect us.
I can let her know that I've got it now.
I can let her know that I've got it now.
And she can go have fun.
And she can go have fun.
She doesn't have to take charge.
She doesn't have to take charge.
Let's do another round inside the eyebrow. I'm on this planet for a reason.
I'm on this planet for a reason.
I beat out all the other sperm and eggs.
I beat out all the other sperm and eggs.
My ancestors survived wars and crises.
My ancestors survived war and crises.
And persecution.
And persecution.
So I guess I got here for a reason.
So I guess I got here for a reason.
Side of the eye. Take your time. The universe wanted me to be here.
The universe wanted me to be here.
The universe does not make mistakes.
The universe does not make mistakes.
Everything about me is just right.
Everything about me is just right.
My feelings are important.
My feelings are important.
I'm going to start listening to my feelings.
I'm going to start listening to my feelings.
Instead of shutting them down.
Instead of shutting them down.
I'm going to work with them.
I'm going to work with them.
Make my inner kids happy.
And make my inner kids happy.
Under the eye. The universe wants me to be happy and fulfilled.
The universe wants me to be happy and fulfilled.
It gave me feelings for a reason.
It gave me feelings for a reason.
My feelings help guide me. Take your time.
My feelings help guide me.
They help me know what I'm here for.
They help me know what I'm here for.
Because when I'm happy and joyful, I bring so much joy to others.
I bring so much joy to others.
Under the nose. I don't need to focus outside of myself.
I don't need to focus outside of myself.
I don't need to worry about what other people are doing.
I don't need to worry about what other people are doing.
They are not the cause of my feelings.
They are not the cause of my feelings.
I'm able to self-regulate.
I'm able to self-regulate.
I'm able to heal the triggers.
I'm able to heal the triggers.
I'm able to give my inner kids what they really want.
I'm able to give my inner kids what they really want.
I can create my own joy and happiness.
I can create my own joy and happiness.
The dip in the chin. And when I'm thriving,
And when I'm thriving,
feeling fulfilled,
feeling fulfilled,
connected,
connected,
loved,
loved,
loving,
loving,
on purpose,
on purpose,
I am magical.
I am magical.
I spread that magic to others,
And I spread that magic to others.
and everything starts spiraling up.
And everything starts spiraling up.
Collarbone points. It all begins with me.
It all begins with me.
Peacefully negotiating with the parts inside,
Peacefully negotiating with the parts inside.
listening to what they all need to say
Listening to what they all need to say.
until we all feel a huge sense of relief.
Until we all feel a huge sense of relief.
Peace begins with me.
Peace begins with me.
Healing, growth, and joy. Your tongue.
Healing, growth, and joy
Are all in my power
are all in my power
to provide for myself.
to provide for myself.
I don't need a pacifier.
I don't need a pacifier.
I am my own loving parent
I am my own loving parent
who can love and nurture and comfort all parts of me.
who can love and nurture and comfort and soothe all parts of me.
Under the arm. I'm ready to heal, release, and let go
I'm ready to heal, release, and let go
of this ancient belief
of this ancient belief
that I'm doing something wrong,
that I'm doing something wrong,
that I'm supposed to be something else.
that I'm supposed to be something else.
I trust my inner compass
I trust my inner compass
to show me the way to joy,
to show me the way to joy,
which brings joy to everybody else.
which will bring joy to everybody else.
Top of the head. I'm so grateful to be me.
I'm so grateful to be me.
I'm perfect just the way I am.
I'm perfect just the way I am.
When I listen to what I really need,
When I listen to what I really need,
to what my inner kids really want,
to what my inner kids really want,
when I listen within,
when I listen within,
I get awareness
I get awareness
of how to create that.
of how to create that.
And then magic happens
And then magic happens
for me and everybody around.
for me and everybody around.
Take a deep breath. What was that, my friend?
Oh my gosh, I feel so soothed. I literally felt so just, yeah, like hypnotized and I don't even have the words, just soft.
Deeply heard, witnessed, Maybe. Good. Yeah. When we do this for ourselves, we can hold space for others. It's really possible. It's within. The peace begins within, really.
It
Can
really
you
does.
imagine if everybody did that? If everybody could do that? And I know in certain situations people are so triggered and traumatized, and there's so much going on around them that finding your way to self-soothing is huge. You can just start with taking some deep breaths. They say a longer exhale soothes your vagus nerve. So maybe 4 counts in, hold it, 6 counts out. That's as simple as it gets. Just start with your breath. And then maybe hold your hands over your heart or your belly, both, and just really tune in. What is it that I need right now? What do I need to feel? What part of me needs my love, my attention, my comfort? What is it my body trying to say to me? Try some tapping. You can try some journaling. These are some very basic tools you can use to start creating that peace within.
Thank you
Yay!
so much, my friend. This was an amazing, amazing episode. That tapping was wonderful. I know that I'm gonna feel ripple effects of it for days to come. And that's to remind the people who are listening, like that's part of the process, right? Like where I feel right now, this feeling like it's just the beginning of this energy release.
Yes, yes.
Um,
Let me say a word to that actually, because aftercare is important. Sometimes things get stirred up and they can even feel worse before they fully, you know, resolve. So take good care of yourself, drink enough water, eat nourishing foods, get enough rest. Sometimes you conk out afterwards, sometimes you get activated. But tapping, a lot of people told me, oh my God, I crashed after that. And that's really good. That's your body saying, yes, we're ready to integrate this. But do the basics of self-care and then do the journaling or sea salt bath or Epsom salt bath, some time in nature,
yes.
put your feet on the earth. Just really learn how to comfort and soothe your inner parts. And it starts with you. Nobody else can do that for you. So I appreciate when people take care of themselves because it makes them easier to be around.
Starts with ourselves. Take care of
Yeah.
ourselves. It's easier to be around us. And if you do feel like you have questions or you want any support in this process, please do reach out. You can post a comment below, or our email addresses are there as well.
Right.
We are not meant to heal alone, which is part of what this Healcast is about, right? The healing work is on us, but it to be witnessed is a part of the journey. Um, and yeah, so we're here for you, and hope this resonated with you. Thank you so much, Jean. This was beautiful, and talk to you soon, my friend.
Sounds good. Good night, my friend.
Night.